Namaste. Atha Shoshitotyayah Atma Samya Yogah Atma Samyama Yogah Shri Bhagavan Nuvacha Anashritah Kaima Phalam Karyam Kaima Karoti Yah Sa Samnyasi Cha Yogi Cha Na Niraganilna Cha Kriyah Yam Samniya Samiti Prahuryogam Tam Viditi Panandava 나 히야 삼니야 스타 상을 깔을 히야 삼니야 스타 상을 히야 삼니야 스타 상을 깔을 보 여기 바바티 가시잖아 아루루쿠술 무네리오감 깔마 까라노무지아테 요가루 더시야 다시아이바 샤마흐 까라노무지아테 야다 히 내는들이야 테슈 나 깔마스바누 셔주자테 살바상을 깔을 살바상을 깔을 바삼니아시 요가루 더스토도 요가루 더스타도지아테 우드타레다 드마나 드마남 나 드마나마바사다예트 아 드마이바 야 드마노 마는 투라 드마이바 비푸라 드마나흐 마는 투라 드마나스타시아 예나 드마이바 드마나 지타흐 아나트마나수투 샤투루트베 발테타 트마이바 샤투루바트 지타 트마나흐 브라샤는타시아 파라마 트마 사마히타흐 시도시노 수카두허케슈 타타 마나파마나요흐 지냐나 비지냐나 드리브타 드마 구더스토 비지테는드리야흐 유크타 이티우지아테 요기 사말로시트 시마칸자나흐 수흐리는 미트라 리우다시 나마티아스타 드베시어 바는 투슈 수흐리는 미트라 리우다시 나마티아스타 드베시어 바는 투슈 사투시바피 짜바페슈 사마부드 틸비시슈어테 여기 유는 윤지타 사타타마 드마남 라하시 스티타흐 에카기 야타치타 드마 니라시라 파리그라하흐 슈짱 대셰 브라티슈토피아 스티라마 사나마 드마나흐 나티 유크치리탐 나티 니짬 자일라지나쿠쇼트 따라무 타트라이카 그람 마나흐 그리트바 야타치테는 드리야 그리야흐 우파비시야 사네 윤지야 디오가마 트마비 슈드타예 samam kaya shiro grivam dharayanna chalam sthiraha samam prakushya nasikagram svam dishashijana valokayana prashanantatma vigatapil brahma vigatapil brahmachari brate stitaha manaha samyamya makachitto yukta asita mataparaha yunjannevam sadatmanam yogi niyatamanasah shanatim nirvana paramam mata samsitam atikakachati natiyashinatasutu. One more time. Natiyashinatasutu yogo sati na jaikanantama nashinataha na jati svapanashi lasya jagrato naiva charjuna yukutahara viharasya yukutachashudosya kaimasu yukutasvapana vabotasya yogo bhavati duhakaha yada viniyatam citatamatmanieva patishithate ihasupurihaha salvakame pio yukuta iti uchyate tada. Sorry, being distracted. Yatha dipo nivatasuto nangangate sopama smrita yogino yatachitasya yunjato yogamatmanaha yaturo paramate chitatam nirudatam yogasavaya yatara jaivatmanatmanam pashyananatmani dushyati sukhamatyanantikam yatatad buddhati grahyamati nandriyama vatati yatara na jaivayam sthitash chalati tatavataha yam labhatva cha param labham manyate natikam tataha yasaminan sthito na duhakena guruna vichalyate tam vidyad duhaka samyoga viyogam yoga samjinitama sa nishchayana yogutavyo yogo nilvinunno jatasa 상은가를 빠빠라파바는 상은가를 빠빠라파바는 까맘스티야크드바 살바나셰셨다흐 마나사이베는드리야그라맘 비니야미야 사마는 따따흐 샤나이루 파라메드 무드티야 트리티그리히 따야 아드마 삼스탐 마나흐 그리트바 나 겐치다피 지는다야트 야또 니시짜라티 마나시 짠짤라 마스티라무 타타스 타또 니아미아이타다 드마니엔 니아미아이타 Mia itada temanieva pasham nayet Prashanatamanasam hienam yoginam sukhamutatamam Upaiti shanantarajasam brahma bhutamakarmashomu Yunjanan nevam sadatmanam yogi 비가타카르마쇼흐 수케나 브라하마 삼스팔샤마티안 브라하마 삼스팔샤마티안은 땀 수카마슈누테 살바푸 따스탓 살바푸 따스타 살바푸 따스타마 뜨마남 살바푸 따니 짜뜨마니 이 구쇼테 요가 유쿠땅 뜨마 살바뜨라 사마달샤나흐 요맘 파시아티 살바뜨라 살밤 짜 마이 파시아티 다시야함 나 프라노시아미 사짜메 나 프라노시아티 살바푸 따스티땀 요맘 파자티에 까뜨바마 스티타흐 살바타 발타마노피 사 요기 마이 발타테 아뜨마오파미에나 살바뜨라 사맘 파시아티 욜주나 수캄 바 야디 바 두허캄 사 요기 바라모 마타흐 알주나 우바짜 요얌 요가스트바야 프로크타흐 사미에나 마투수다나 에타시야함 나 파시아미 짠짤라트바트 스티팀 스티라무 짠짤람 히 마나흐 그리슈누 브라마티 발라바드 느리터무 다시야함 니그라함 마니에 바요리바 수두시카라무 시리 파가바 누바짜 아삼샤얌 마하바호 마노 둘니그라함 짤라무 아피아세나 뚜 까우는데야 바이라기에노 짜 그리히아테 아사미야타 때마나 요고 두시프라파 이티 메 마티흐 파시아 때마나 뚜 야타타 샤키요바 부투무파 야타흐 알주나 우바짜 아야티흐 시라드타요페토 요가 그짤리타마나사흐 아프라피아 요가 삼시드팀 감 가팀 그리슈누 가그차티 가그찌는 노 파야비 프라실더 가그찌는 노 파야비 프라실더 시친 지는나 프라미바. Alright, little nicotine break. Like 10 verses left. Okay. 가끄지는 노 파야비 프라실더 시치는 나 브라미바 나시아티 아프라티슈투 마하바호 미무투 브라하마노흐 파티 에따는메 삼샤얌 그리슈누 차트투 말하시아 셰쇼타흐 드바다니아흐 삼샤야시아 차트타 나 히우파파디아테 시리 파가바 누바짜 Partha Naiveha Na Mudra Vinashastasya Vidyate Na Hi Kalyana Kritva Kalyana Krit Kashchid Dulgatim Tata Kakachati Prapya Punuya Kritam Lokanushitva Shashivati Samaha Shuchi Nam Shri Matam Kehe Yoga Prashito Pija Yoga Prashito Pija Yoga Prashito Pija Yate Atava Yoginam Eva Kule Pavati Ti Matam Etadati Dulapa Dulapataram Loke Janama Yadi Dirisham Tatra Tam Muditi Samyogam Lapate Paulva Dehikam Yatate Ja Tato Puyaho Samsiditao Guru Nanandana. 4 more. Pulva Pyasena Tenaiva Huriyate Yavashopi Saho Jijinya Surapi Yogasya Shabuda Brahma Tivatate Prayatana Dhyatama Nasutu Yogi Samshuddha Samshuddhakil Vishohu Aneka Janama Samsiddhati Aneka Janama Samsiddhatasattato Yati Param Gatimu Tapasva Pyotiko Yogi Tapasvi Pyotiko Yogi Jinyani Pyopi Matotikaho Kalmi Pyasheja Tiko Yogi Tasmadi Yogi Pabaljuna Yogina Mapi Salveshum Madgatenan Taratmana Shiradatavan Pajate Yo Mam Sa Me Yukutatamo Mataho Tatasaditi Shri Mad Bhagavad Gita Supanishatusu Brahma Vidyayam Yoga Sutras Shri Krishna Arjuna Sambade Atma Samyama Yogo Nama Shashutotyayahu. The Holy One said, regardless of fruit of action, he that performs the actions which should be performed is a renouncer and devotee, and not one who discards the fire, nor one that abstains from action. That which has been called renunciation, know that of son of Pandu to be devotion, since nobody can be a devotee who has not renounced the resolves. To the sage desirous of rising to devotion, action is said to be the means, and when he has risen to devotion, cessation of action is said to be the means. When one is no longer attached to the objects of the senses, nor to actions, and when one renounces all resolves, then is one said to have risen to devotion. One should raise the self by self. One should not degrade the self, for one's own self is one's friend, and one's own self is one's enemy. To him who has subjugated his self by his self is self a friend. But to him who has not subjugated his self behaves inimically like an enemy. Sorry, being distracted. The soul of one who has subjugated his self and who is in the enjoyment of tranquility is steadily fixed amid cold and heat, pleasure and pain, and also honor and dishonor. That ascetic is said to be devoted, whose mind is satisfied with knowledge and experience, who hath no affection, who has subjugated his senses, and to whom a sod, a stone, and gold are alike. He who views equally well-wishers, friends, foes, strangers that are indifferent to him, those that take part with both sides, those that are objects of aversion, those that are related, those that are good, and those that are wicked, is distinguished. A devotee should always fix his mind on contemplation, remaining in a secluded place alone, restraining both mind and body without expectations and without concern. erecting his seat immovably on a clean spot, not too high nor too low, and spreading over it a piece of cloth, a deerskin, or blades of kusha grass. And there, seated on that seat, with mind fixed on one object and restraining the functions of the heart and the senses, one should practice contemplation for the purification of self, holding body, head, and neck even, unmoved and steady, and casting his glance on the tip of his nose, and without looking about in any of the different directions, with mind in tranquility, free from fear, observant of the practices of brahmacharis, restraining the mind with heart fixed on me, the devotee should sit down, regarding me as the object of his attainment. Thus applying his soul constantly, the devotee whose heart is restrained attains to that tranquility which culminates in final absorption and assimilation with me. Devotion is not one's Arjuna who eateth much, nor one's who doth not eat at all, nor one's who is addicted to too much sleep, nor one's who is always awake. Devotion that is destructive of misery is his who is temperate in food and amusements, who duly exerts himself temperately in all his works, and who is temperate in sleep and vigils. When one's heart, properly restrained, is fixed on one's own self, then indifferent to all objects of desire, is one called a devotee. As a lamp in a windless spot doth not flicker, even that is the resemblance declared of a devotee whose heart hath been restrained and who applieth himself to abstraction. That in which the mind, restrained by practice of abstraction, taketh rest, in which beholding self by self, one is gratified within self, in which one experienceth that highest felicity which is beyond the senses, and which the understanding can grasp, and fixed on which one never swerveth from the truth, acquiring which one regards no other acquisition greater than it, and abiding in which one is never moved by even the heaviest sorrow. That should be known to be what is called devotion, in which there is a severance of connection with pain. That devotion should be practiced with perseverance and with an undesponding heart, renouncing all desires without exception that are born of resolves, restraining the entire group of the senses on all sides by mind alone. One should by slow degrees become quiescent, by understanding controlled by patience, and then directing his mind to self should think of nothing. Wheresoever the mind, which is restless and unsteady, may run, restraining it from those, one should direct it to self alone. Indeed, unto such a devotee whose mind is in tranquility, whose passions have been suppressed, who hath become one with Brahma, and who is free from sin, the highest felicity cometh. Thus applying his soul constantly, the devotee free from sin easily obtaineth the highest happiness, viz. Contact with Brahma. He that hath devoted self to abstraction, casting an equal eye everywhere, beholdeth himself in all creatures, and all creatures in himself. Unto him that beholdeth me in everything, and beholdeth everything in me, I am never lost, and he also is never lost to me. He that worshippeth me as abiding in all creatures, holding that all is one, is a devotee, and whatever mode of life he may lead, he liveth in me. That devotee, O Arjuna, who casteth an equal eye everywhere, regarding all things as his own self, and the happiness and misery of others as his own, is deemed to be the best. Arjuna said, this devotion by equanimity which thou hast declared, O slayer of Matu, from restless I do not see its stable presence. O Krishna, the mind is restless, boisterous, perverse, and obstinate. Its restraint I regard to be as difficult of accomplishment as of the wind. The Holy One said, without doubt, thou of mighty arms, the mind is difficult of subjugation and restless. With practice, however, O son of Kunti, and with the abandonment of desire, it is controlled. It is my belief that by him whose mind is not restrained, devotion is difficult of acquisition. But by one whose mind is restrained and who is assiduous, it is capable of acquisition with the means. Arjuna said, without assiduity and due with faith, with mind shaken off from devotion, what is the end of him, O Krishna, that hath not earned success in devotion? Fallen off from both, is he lost like a separated cloud or not, being without refuge, O thou of mighty arms, and deluded on the path? This my doubt, O Krishna, it behoveth thee to remove without leaving anything. Besides thee, no dispeller of this doubt is to be had. The Holy One said, O son of Pritha, neither here nor hereafter doth ruin exist for him, since none, O sire, who performs good comes by an evil end. attaining to the regions for those that perform meritorious acts, and living there for many, many years. He that hath fallen off from devotion taketh birth in the abode of those that are pious and endue with prosperity, or he is born even in the family of devotees endue with intelligence. Indeed, a birth such as this is more difficult of acquisition in this world. There he obtaineth contact with that knowledge which was his in his former life, and from that point he striveth again, O descendant of Guru, towards perfection. And although unwilling, he still worketh on in consequence of that same former practice of his. Even one that inquireth of devotion riseth above the divine word. Striving with great efforts, the devotee, cleansed of all his sins, attaineth to perfection after many births, and then reacheth the supreme goal. The devotee is superior to ascetics engaged in austerities. He is esteemed to be superior to even the man of knowledge. The devotee is superior to those that are engaged in action. Therefore become a devotee, O Arjuna. Even amongst all the devotees, he who, full of faith and with inner self resting on me, worshippeth me, is regarded by me to be the most devout. Sorry for my reading, I'm being distracted. Somebody's listening to distract me. It happens. Like, they don't want me to say whatever they don't want me to say what I say. So what can I do? Namaste. I'm pretty sure I made some mistakes today. It's what happens when I become distracted. Sorry, it is what it is. Krishna says do things without the expectation of fruit, but I gotta do what I gotta do. So partly I'm doing what Krishna says. 26. But I wish I were calmer. That's my wish. Okay, so I made a note to myself. That was Bhagavad Gita. And sorry again for the reading. I'm being distracted. It's like, what is it? Ridicule is is men's most powerful weapon. Ridicule. It destroys everything. If you ridicule something, even the most intelligent man becomes a fool. Because it feels bad, Okay. Moving on. 70, I think so. I'm gonna drink something. I gotta drink. I got this from H Mart. It's called Today's Mango. It's pretty sweet. Got a sweet tooth. Testing. Okay, I'm still online. I don't know. Nicotine break, and then we'll do Rig Veda. Bhagavad Veda. 11 verses. Okay. Namaste. Panema Pulviradio Manisho Agniho Sushoko Vishivaniasyaho Daivyani Prata Chikitvana Manushasya Janasya Janama Galpo Yo Apam Galpo Bananam Galpashita Satatam Galpashitara 갈파시짜라탐 아드라우 지다스마 아는 딸두로 누에 비샴 나 비시보 아무리타흐 스바티흐 사히 구셔파밤 아그니 라이넘 다샤디오 아스마 아람 수크타이흐 에따 지키트보 푸마 니파히 데바남 자느마 말담 실장 비드바느 말타니암 불비허 그셔포 비루바허 스타 도실자 라타무리타 프라비타무 아라티 호따 스발니셔트타흐 그리는 바는 비시바니아 밤시 사티야 고슈 브라샤스팀 바네슈 티슈에 파라는다 비시베 발림 스발노흐 비드바 나라흐 부르드라 사파리아느 비툴나 지브렐 비 데보 베도 바라는다 사둘나 그리투누라 스테바 슈로 야테바 비마스트 베쇼흐 사마투수 예 나마스테 May we the pious win much food by prayer, may Agni with fair light pervade each act. He the observer of the heavenly laws of gods and of the race of mortal man. He who is germ of waters, germ of woods, germ of all things that move not and that move. To him, even in the rock and in the house, immortal one, he cares for all mankind. Agni is Lord of riches for the man who serves him readily with sacred songs. Protect these beings, thou with careful thought, knowing the races both of gods and men, whom many dawns and nights unlike make strong, whom born in law all things that move and stand. He hath been one, herald who sits in light, making effectual all our holy works. Thou settest value on our cows and woods, all shall bring tribute to us to the light. Men have served thee in many and sundry spots, parting as 'twere an aged father's wealth. Like a brave archer, like one skilled and bold, a fierce avenger, so he shines in fight. Yeah. That's it. And the Yoga Sutras. I want to finish book 4 today. It's only like 10 sutras and they're pretty short. '24. Oh, we're starting from 24. My bad. So we did up to 23. Yeah, I gotta fix that later. So many things to fix. 24. I think there's 34 sutras. So let me check with the English version. This is easy to count for me. The pages aren't that long. So 34. Yeah, 34. And they're all pretty short. So if I get through all the sutras today, I'll be a happy man. Because even if you read, because I'm gonna read it over and over again. Even if you read something wrong, you'll get it later the next time, and you still learn something. It's not that everything is the one thing that's different from computer language and Sanskrit is that Sanskrit still gives you something, whereas in a computer language you make one mistake and the whole program is ruined. Sanskrit has more love than a computer language, I think. That's just my opinion, don't quote me, but that's from my experience. Kutashita Dada Samkhye Namaste. Kutashita Dada Samkhye Yaba Sana Dada Samkhye Yaba Sana Pishichitrama Dada Samkhye Yaba Sana Dada Samkhye Yaba Sana Pishichitra. From the beginning. Kutashita Dada Samkhye Yaba Dada Samkhye Yaba Sana Pishichitramapi Paral Tam. Is it Paral Tam or Paral Tam? Tam. So fuzzy. Tam. Paral Tam. Samadhi Akaritvat. Excuse me. Tadetak Chitamasam Tadetak Chitamasam Tadetak Chitamasam Kieya Pilba Sana Pireba Tadetak Chitamasam Kieya Pilba Sana Pireba Chitri Gritamapi Paraltam Parasya Yoga Babal Tam Na Sabal Tam Samhatiyakaritvad Gad Grihavat Samhatiyakaritvad Grihavat Samhatyakarino Chititena Na Savaltena Pavitavyam Na Sukhachititam. It's number 2. Where's number 1? Okay, that's 2. Number 2. Sukham Chitatam, right? Yeah. Sukhaltam na Jinyanam Jinyanaltam Upayapami Jinyanaltam Upayamapya Tatparaltam Yashichan Yogena Babalgenu Jalte Jaltenal Tabanum Burushuhu Sa Eva Paro Na Parahu Samanyamatramu Jalte Nalta. Okay. Yatatu Kimchit Param Samanyamatraam Sivaru Benoda Haredubai Sivaru Benoda Harebaina Shikasutat Sai. Should I? I'm gonna try a couple more times. If it doesn't work, I'll have to wave nicotine. It's this word here. Sivaru Benoda Haredubaina Shikasutat Saivam. Samhatiyaka Ritvat Paral Tameva Siat Yasat Basao Paro Visheshuhu Sa Na Samhatiyakari Purushu Iti. Why is this so? Start from here. Variegated by those innumerable residua, the mind is also possessed of the interests of the other on account of its action by combination. This is this mind, that is this mind which, being variegated by the innumerable residua, is possessed of the interests of the other, that is, the interests of experience and emancipation of the other. It has no interest of its own on account of the action by combination. The mind, acting in combination like a house, is not to happen for its own sake. The pleasurable thought is not for the sake of pleasure, nor the knowledge for the sake of knowledge, but they both are the interests of the other. Further, the Purusha, who is marked out by the interests, that is, by experience and emancipation, is verily the other. He is not an individual of a common class. On the contrary, whatever the other individual of a common class with its natural characters described by the Vainashikas is indeed possessed of the interests of the other on account of his action by combination. He, however, who is the other, the distinct and does not act in combination, is a Purusha. And for what reason is this? This, although diversified by countless subconscious impressions, exists for the sake of another, because its nature is to produce combinations. Although diversified by absolutely countless subconscious impressions, the same mind stuff exists for the sake of another, for the sake of the experience and the release of another, not for its own sake, because like a house, its nature is to work as a combination. The mind stuff must act as a combiner, and not for its own sake. Pleasurable mind stuff is not for the pleasure. The mind stuff of thought is not for the thought. But both of these two kinds exist for the sake of another. And that very self, which has its purpose in the two purposes of experience and liberation, is this other, not any other in general. Any indefinite other as such, which the destructionists set forth in general terms, would all still exist for the sake of some other, since they act to produce things to be combined. But that particular other, which is the self, does not act as a combination. Okay, 25 may be the longest. See, they're very short after 25. So once I get through 25, it's easy peasy. 33 might be longer. 33 is long. So 25 and 33. 11 sutras today, but I have to do everything. I have to do all of them today. I have no choice. And if I get through all the sutras today, I'm gonna start from book 1, sutra 1 all over again. That's from the beginning. Tomorrow, if I get through this. Namaste. Vishesha Daishina Atma Pava Pavana Nishi Atma Pava Pavana Nivritutiha Yatha Pravrishvi Trinang Kunasio de Pedena Trinang Kura Trinang Kunasio de Pedena. One more. Trinang Kunasio de Pedena Tadabija Sat. Sorry. Tadabija Satatanuma Tadabija Satatanumi Yate Tata Mokushamai Gashirabanuena Mokushamai Gashirabanuena Yasya Ro, and this is like confusing me. It's also what happens when you get distracted. Even the things you know, you question it. It's the worst. Okay, 25. Roma Harsha Shurupa Tao Tirishyate Tatra Piasati Vishesha Daisha. Is that V or B? Vishesha Daishana Bija. B. About this. What the hell? It's supposed to say 25, it just has 2. B. Okay, so we'll go with B. This word here. Vishesho Daishana Bijamapa Galpa Gal Valga Valga Pagiya Vishesho Daishana Vishesho Daishana Bijamapa Valga Vishesho Daishana Bijamapa Pavalga Vishesho Daishana Bijamapa Valga Pagiyam Kaima Pinil Vaitita Mitiu Kaima Pinil Vaitita Mitia Kaima Pinil Vaitita Mitia Numi Yate Tasya Tuma Pava Pavana Suva Paviki Pravaitate Yasya Pava Dida Mukutam Suva Pavam Mukutava Dosho Die Shum Pulva Pakushwe Ruchil Pavatia Ruchishcha Ruchil Pavatia Ruchisha. Alright, I'm gonna need nicotine. I'm gonna drink this sweet sugary drink and then take some nicotine vape. So, Krishna devotees 500 years ago asked Nityananda, people are stopping us from reading Sanskrit. What shall we do? Just like what's happening to me now. And Nityananda replied, read it 3 times. But I never understood that until I started reading Sanskrit more. Now I get it. It's like people freak out whenever they hear, Sanskrit and its clear pronunciation. Nicotine. Okay. Ruchil Pavatia Ruchishicha Nilnoye Pavati Tatratma Pava Pavana Kuhama Sam Katamahama Sam Kem Savididam Katam Savididam Ke Pavishyumahu Katam Va Pavishyuma Iti Sa Tu Vishesho Daishino Nivaitate Kutaho Chitatasyai Vaisho Vichitraho Parinomaho Purushasutta Vasatya Purushasutta Vasatya Mavidyayam Shuddhatasha Chittataima Shuddhatasha Chittata. What's this word? How long has it been? I found out that like 2 hours of reading Sanskrit and English is enough for me. Not even an hour. We might get through the whole book today. Shuddhatasha Chittata Taimarat Shuddhatasha Chittata Taimara Paramurishito Iti Tatosya Tama Pava Pavana Kushalasya. And there's number 1. Kushasya. Vini, okay. Vini Vaitata Nivaitata Iti. Okay. The cessation of the investigation of self-existence comes to the seer of the distinct truth. As the existence of the seed of grass is inferred by the germination of its sprout in the rainy season, so it is inferred that in him whose bristling of hair and the flow of tears are seen on hearing the path of emancipation, there is also the seed of observing the distinct truth, that is, the action tending to emancipation has begun its fruition. His investigation of self-existence naturally flows, owing to the absence of that. After leaving off this set tendency, by defect their desire comes to the opposite side, and the hatred for the complete ascertainment appears. There the investigation of self-existence is as follows. Who was I? How was I? What is it? How was it? What shall we become? How shall we become? This, however, ceases in the seer of the distinct truth. Wherefore, this is but a strange modification of the mind. The Purusha, however, on the absence of the non-science, is pure and untouched by the characteristics of the mind. For this reason, the investigation of this adept about self-existence ceases. For him who sees the distinction, the pondering upon his own states of being ceases. Because a blade of grass sprouts during the rains, we infer the existence of seed. Just so in the case of him who betrays thrills of joy and falling tears, in hearing the way of release, we may likewise infer that there is in him kaima rooted in the knowledge of the difference, conducive to liberation and brought to completion. In him, the pondering upon his own states of being, which is natural to him, comes into activity. When there is none of this, this has been said. For who, after having renounced their own nature, there is by reason of lack, a liking for the opposing view and no liking for the ascertainment of truth. Now as to this point, the pondering upon his own states of being is in this fashion. Who was I? How was I? What is this? How is this? What shall we become? Or how shall we become? But this pondering ceases for one who sees the distinction. For what reason is this? Since it is this mind stuff which undergoes this diversified mutation. But when there is no longer undifferentiated consciousness, the self is purified and untouched by the conditions of the mind stuff. For this reason, the skillful person ceases pondering upon his own states of being. Namaste. Tada. Vivekanimunam Kaivalya Pragaparam Chittatamu Tadanim Yadasya Chittatam Vishaya Paramajinyana Nimunamasi Tadasya Nyata. It's this word here. Vishaya Paramajinyana Nimunama Vishaya Paramajinyana Nimunamasi Tadasya Nyata. Vishaya Paramajinyana Nimunamasi Tadasya Vishaya Paramajinyana Nimunamasi Tadasya Nyata. Okay, I'll take it. Bhavati Kaivalya Pragaparam Vivekajajinyana Nimunamiti. Oh, there's number 2. Gani. So it skips 3 syllables. Vivekanimun namiti. Yeah. Then the mind becomes inclined towards the intellective distinguishing power and has the load of absoluteness in front. His mind, which had before this the Lord of sense objects in front and was inclined towards ignorance, becomes otherwise at this time. That is, the mind acquires the Lord of absoluteness in front and becomes inclined towards the intellect-born knowledge. Then the mind stuff is borne down to discrimination, onward towards isolation. That mind stuff of his, which formerly was borne onward towards objects of sense, down to non-thinking, becomes changed for him. It is borne onward towards isolation, down to the thinking which comes from discrimination. Namaste. Takachidireshu Pratyayanan taranui samskare pyahu. Number 3. I'm confused. Oh, it adds another word in front of the comment. Viveka pratyayani. And then it starts. Pratyaya viveka nimunasya. Sattva purusho niyata khyati matra prabhahino shichitasya. Sattva purusho niyata khyati matra prabhahino shichitasya. It's this word here. Sattva purusho niyata khyati matra prabhahino. Sattva purusho niyata khyati matra prabhahino shichitasya. I'll take it. 4 says Baharohi 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 Baharohi. Baharohi. Sorry. Ro. There's no ro anywhere, so it's just a standalone word. So it negates. Sorry, I'm being distracted. Sattva purusho niyata khyati matra prabhaharohi Baharohi Prabhaharohi. Sattva purusho niyata khyati matra para. Sorry, let me Sattva purusho niyata khyati matra prabhaharohi. Almost. Sattva purusho niyata khyati matra prabhaharohi. Yeah, I'll take it. Takachidireshu pratyayanan taranuyasmiti va mameti va janamiti va na janamiti va kutaho Kushui no ma no bija piahu pulva samskara pia iti. Within those intervals, other notions come from the habitual potencies. Within those intervals of the mind, which is inclined towards the intellective distinguishing power of cognition and is elevated on the only flow of the revelation of the distinction between the essence and the Purusha, come other notions such as I am, it is mine, I know, and so on, whence from the previous habitual potencies whose seed power is being destroyed. In the intervals of this, there are other presented ideas from subliminal impressions. The mind stuff which is down towards discrimination of the presented idea and the flow of which is towards nothing but discernment of the difference between the Sattva and the Self, has in its intervals other presented ideas, either it is I or it is mine or I think or I do not think. From what source? From the dwindling seeds from previous subliminal impressions. Okay, moving on. Namaste. Hanameshum Galeshabadukutamu. Yata Galesha Nagatabi Japaba Na Pararohasanalta. I just want to make sure this is an N. I'm seeing things, I'm sorry. 28, yeah. Pararoha Sahaya Samaita Samai. See, that's not na, it's ma. How about this version? That's scary. I was so sure that, well, it is a na if it wasn't misprinted. But apparently there's a misprint. This is supposed to be 29, but they wrote 26. Maita. Yeah, it's not na, it's ma. Pararohasa maita, pavananti tata, jinyana ganina, nagatabi japavahu, pulva samskaro, na pratyaya prasul pavati. Jinyana samskara sutu jitata tikara samapati manusharata. Jitata tikara samapati. Jitata tikara samapati manushara. Jitata tikara samapati manusharata iti na jinantianante. There's number one. It's probably like Jintiate or something. Jintiate. Yeah. Jintiate. Okay. The avoidance of these has been prescribed like that of the afflictions. As the afflictions, having reached the state of the burnt up seed, are not capable of germination, similarly the previous habitual potency on attaining to the state of the burnt up seed by the fire of knowledge does not give birth to notions, but the habitual potencies of knowledge stay up to the end of the duty of the mind, so they are not to be considered. The escape from these is described as being like the hindrances. The hindrances, when in the condition of burnt seed, are unfit for germination. Just so a previous subliminal impression, when in the condition of seed, burnt by the fire of thinking, does not generate presented ideas. But because the subliminal impressions of knowledge are dormant until the task of the mind stuff is completed, they are not considered here. Alright, 5 more. If I do 5 more, I'll be a 6 more. I'll be a happy man if I finish it. Namaste. Prasamkhyane pyakusi dasya saivatan vivekakya del taima mekkahu. Samatihu. I have to check this spelling. It's a ka. You'll never know. That's sometimes with this book. Yeah, ka. Yadayam brahmanohu prasamkhyana piyakusi dasatatot prasamkhyana piyakusi dasatatopi na kimchit pralthayate tatrapi virakutasya saivata vivekakya tireva bhavati ti samskara bijakushoyananasya pratyayanantara nyutapadyanante pratyayanantara nyutapadyanante tatasya taimameko nama samatilpavati. No, I just want to check that just to make sure. Yeah, okay, cool. Moving on. 5 left. I'm excited. The spiritual absorption known as the cloud of virtue comes to him who, being possessed of the intellective revelation in all respects, is not professional even on the full payment. This is a really cool sutra. I like this one. When this Brahmana is not professional even on the full payment, that is, does not beg anything even of that, he being unattached with that also, possesses the intellective revelation in all respects. And on account of the destruction of the seed of the habitual potencies, his other notions are not produced. Then the spiritual absorption known as the cloud of virtue comes to him. For one who is not usurious, even in respect of elevation, there follows in every case, as a result of discriminative discernment, the concentration, the rain cloud of things. This Brahman, even in respect of elevation, is not usurious, is not looking for anything, even from that. If in respect of that he be passionless, in every case, nothing less than the discriminative discernment becomes his. In this way, when, because the seeds of the subliminal impressions have perished, there do not spring up for him any more presented ideas, then the concentration called rain cloud of things becomes his. Namaste. Tataha klesha kaimani britatiha. Is that double T or single T? Tata or ta? Ta. And how about this? Ta. The 4th version. This one always resets to the beginning. I don't know why it does that. It's hard for me to find it. Yeah, 33 is long. Everything else is really short. Da. So it's just da. Da. Darla pada. Darla pada vidya dayaha kleshaha samulakasham kashvita pavananti. Kushala shicha kaima shayaha samulakatam hata pavananti. Klesha kaima nivrititao. Jiva는 지바는 내바 비드바는 비무쿠토 비드바는 비무쿠토 Pavati. My theory is that saying the same thing twice is not right if you said it right the first time. Disrespect to Sanskrit or something. A form of disrespect to Sanskrit if you say the same thing twice. Unless it's a mantra. Mantra, you could say it over and over and over. Kasamatu, yasamadu yasamadu vipariyayo pavasya karanamu na hi kushuina vipariyayahu. 1. Klesha, klesha, klesha. Kushuina klesha vipariyayahu. Okay. Kashichitu, kashichitu, kenachitu, kashichitu, kenachitu, kubachi, jijujato, kashichitu, kenachitu, kubachidu, kashichitu, kenachitu, kubachiju, jiju, kashichitu, kenachitu, kubachijujato. I'll take it. Trishyata iti. Thence the cessation of the afflictions and actions. On account of its attainment, the afflictions such as non-science, etc., become scraped along with their roots. The good and the bad vehicles of actions are destroyed. Along with their roots. On the cessation of the afflictions and actions, the wise, although living, becomes fully free. Why? Because the perversive cognition is the cause of rebirth. A person whose afflictions and perversive cognitions have been destroyed is not seen to be born by anybody anywhere. Then follows the cessation of the hindrances and of kaima. After the attainment of this undifferentiated consciousness, and the other hindrances are extirpated root and the latent deposits of kaima, good and bad, are destroyed with their roots. Upon the cessation of the hindrances and of kaima, the wise man, even while yet alive, is released. Why is this? Because misconception is the cause of the world. For surely no one has ever seen the birth of anyone whose misconceptions have dwindled away. Alright, 4 more to go. It's checking time. 1 hour and 13 minutes. Like 45. If I could do the 4 sutras within 45 minutes, I could do it. Namaste. Tada Saiva Barana Mala Patasya Jinyanasya Nanu Jinyanasya Nanantia Jijinyaya Maripamu Jinyanasya Nanantia Jijinyaya Maripamu Jinyanasya Nanantia Jinyanasya Nanantia Jijinyaya Maripamu Saivaihu Kalesha Kaima Baranoi Kalesha Kaima Baranoi Kalesha Kaima Baranoi Bimukutasya Jinyanasya Nanantiam Pavati Avarakeno Tamasa Pipu Tama Britamananan Tamasa Pipu Tama Britamananan Tam Jinyana Satavam Gavachideva Rajasa. I want to make sure this is one word. Yeah. Starting from here. Paravartita Muduk Prabhatita Mudukha Tuitam. Is that ka? Double check. Yeah. Grahana Samaltam Pavati Tatra Yada Saivaira Baranamai Saibara Saivaira Baranamalaira Pagatam. One more, sorry. Saibara Saivaira Baranamalaira Pagatam. Number 2. Katamalam, 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 Katamalam. Saivaira Baranamalaira Pagamalam, Pagamalam, Katamalam, 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 Tamalam, Tamalam. Saivaira Baranamalaira Paga. Sorry, the word is broken and and it's not easy for me. Katamalam, Katamalam, Katamalam. Rapa Katamalam, Katamalam. Saivaira Baranamalaira Katamalam, Katamalam. Yeah. Saivaira Baranamalaira Pagatamalam, Pagatamalam. Saivaira Baranamalaira Pagatamalam. Yay. Pavati Tada Pavatiasya Nanantiyam. Jiñanasya Nanantiya Jijiñaya Maripam Sampadyate. Yatha Kashe Kadyotahu. Yatrada Mukutamu. Ananto Manuimabi Tia. Ooh, that's not easy. Nicotine is calling me. I'm gonna this word here. I'm gonna try it a few times. If I don't get it, I'm not gonna pull my hair. I'm gonna resort to nicotine. Manuimabi Tiat Tama Nangungulira Bayat. Nangunguli Manuima Bitiatata Mananguli Manuima Bitiatata Manan. Alright, nicotine. Sugary drink and then nicotine. Thank you for bearing with me. It'll get better as time goes on. This is my 3rd time reading this book. And you imagine the first time. The first time I read it a few months ago. That was April or something. Manuima Bitiat Tama Manuima Bitiat Tamanangulira Bayat Manuima Bitiat Tamanangulira Bayat. I'll take it. Agri Basitam Pratia Munchata Tama Jihubo Pia Pujayata Yat. Or maybe one more time. I'm gonna beat my nicotine and pronounce that word just one more time, this word here. Pranuima Bitiat Tamana Pranuima Bitiat Tamana Pranuima Vityat Tamanangulira Bayat. Good enough. Sounded like similar. Agri Vasatam Pratya Munchatata Munchatama Jihubo Piapu Jayata Yat Pratya Munchatata Pratya Munchatama Jihubo Pratya Munchatama almost this word here. Pratya Munchatata Machihuvo Piapu Jayat. One more. Pratya Munchatama Jihuvo Piapu Jayat Iti. Yay. 32 is short and 3 is really long, and then 34 is the last one, so 3 more. Then on account of the infinity of the knowledge which has been free from all covering impurities, the knowable becomes little. Infinity comes to the knowledge which has been freed from all coverings of the afflictions and actions. The infinite essence of knowledge being covered, that is, being overpowered by the inert energy, rarely becomes excited, that is, opened up by the active energy and becomes capable of taking up. There, when it becomes free from all covering impurities, infinity comes to it. From this infinity of the knowledge, the knowable is made little as a firefly in the sky. Here it has been said, the blind pierced the pearl, the fingerless threaded it, the necklace wore it, and the tongueless praised it. Then, because of the endless knowledge from which all obscuring defilements have passed away, what is yet to be known amounts to little. The knowledge which is freed from all obscurations by hindrances and by kaima becomes endless. The sattva of the obscured knowledge, overwhelmed by the tamas which obscures it, and kept in motion here and there only by the rajas, is set free and becomes fit for the process of knowing. In this case, when it has become rid of defilement by any of the defilements of the covering, it becomes endless. In consequence of the endlessness of knowledge, what is yet to be known amounts to little, to no more than a firefly in the sky, on which point this has been said. A blind man pierced the jewel, one without fingers strung it on a cord, one without a neck put it on, a dumb man paid honor to it. Namaste. Tatahu Grital Tanam Parino Makramasam Parino Makramasamaptil Guno Nam Tasya Talmamekasiodayat Grital Tanam Gunonam Parino Makramahu Parisamapiate Na hi Grita Poga Pabalgahu Parisamapadakramahu Kushonamapya Vasata Tumutas Hahanante. One more, the last word. Kushonamapya Vasata Tumutas Hahanante. Okay, moving on. Thence the termination of the succession of change comes to the energies which have fulfilled the interests. On account of the rise of that cloud of virtue, the succession and the change of the energies whose interests are fulfilled comes to an end, because they which have performed experience and emancipation and whose succession has come to an end cannot dare to stay even for a moment. All right, two more. When as a result of this the aspects have fulfilled their purpose, they attain to the limit of the sequence of mutations. As a result of the rise of the rain cloud of things, when the aspects have fulfilled their purpose, they end the sequence of their mutations. For having completed their experience and their liberation, and having attained the limit of their sequence, are incapable of lingering even for a moment. Yeah, 33 is really long. That's the second to the last sutra, and I have to do 33, and 34 is short, so I have no choice but to 33. But 33 is really long. It's gonna beat that crap out of me. Namaste. Here we go. Ata goyam gramo nameti kushono prati yogi parinoma paranan tanil parinoma paranan talil parinoma paranan tal ta parinoma paranan ta parinoma paranan tanil parinoma paran parinoma parananta parinoma paranantanilgrahiyahu. Now I'm not familiar with the style. Gramahu. I'll double check. It's supposed to be hya, but it doesn't look like hya to me. Yeah, okay. Kushono nanan tariyatma parino masya paranantena basanena grihyate gramahu na just double checking. Hyananu. But there's no hya here. Or is there? Am I missing? Oh, I almost skipped a word. That's what happens, I guess, if you make the letters too long. Yeah, okay. Hyananu. Sorry. Hyananu putakaramakushono. Number 1. Yana no nunabapu. Hyana no nunabapura nota. Hyananu putakaramakushono na. Shono nunabapu. Hyananu putakaramakushono na. Hyananu putakaramakushono na. Yeah, let me just double check with some things here. If I missed out on any word, I don't think so, but you never know. Like, yeah, just makes me anxious. Like here, like I missed that word. I think it's just that page which is more slanted than other pages. Like this is more slanted than this one. Whoosh. Yeah, I think it's just that one. If I have made any mistakes, I'm gonna read the book all over again. I'll remember that mistake and I will make that mistake the next time, hopefully. Yananu Putakarama No Navapu No Navapu No Navapu No Navapuranota No Navapu Hiananu Putakaramakusho No Navapu Hiananu Putakaramakusho No Navapuranota Hiananu Putakaramakusho No Navapuranota. Is that it? And there's another version. Navasya Puranota. Yeah, okay. Now make sure the page is all visible. Cool. Puranota Pasatrasyanante Pavati Nityeshu Jan Gramo Trishutaha Dvayi Jayam Nityata Kutasthanityata Parinaminityata Jan. Oh, there's number 2. No money, parinamani. So this becomes ma. Parinamanityata Jan. I like the second one. Tatara Kutasthanityata Purushasya Parinaminityata. There's number 3. I'm pretty sure it pertains to this character syllable. It's probably like ma. Parinama no mani. Yeah, no ma. Parinamanityata Kuno Nam. Yasaminin Parinomiya Yasaminin Parinomiyamane. And there's number 4. It's not only long, there are so many alternatives in the Sutras comment. No mama. So this becomes ma. Yasaminin Parinomama ne Tatavam na. We're starting from here. Pihanyate Tananityam Upayasya Jan Tatavana Pikatana Nityatvam Tatara Gunotaimeshu Buddhatyadishu Parinoma Paranantanilgrahyahu Gramo Labutapariya Basano Nityeshu Taimishu Gunue Shivala Gunue Shiva Labutapariya Basanahu Kutasthanityeshu Sivarupamatra Pratishtwashu. One more, please. One more. Sivarupamatra Pratishtwashu Mugata Purushwashu Sivarupa Satita Gramenoivanu Puyata Iti Tatra Pialabuta Paria Basanahu Shabuda Purishitwena Satikraya Tikri. This word here. Shabuda Purishutue, Shabuda Purishutuena Satikriya Mupadaya Kalpita Iti Atasya Samsarasya Sthitya Katya Cha Kunueshu Paltamanasya Sati. So one more page and then done with 33. I'm excited. Just make sure the whole page is covered from now. Okay. Grama Samapatilna Betty. I'm right? Double checking. Yeah. Cool. Avajaniya Metat Katama Asati. Is that prashna connected to anything? Let me double check here. Just a simple version check. Prashna, yeah, prashna. Prashna Ekanan tabachaniyaho salvo jato marishyati iti po iti. Like 6 more verses and then we're done with 33 and then it's almost finished. Whoosh. Ata salvo muritva janishyata iti vipajya vachaniya metat Pratiyuditakhyatiha kushvina trishnaha kushalo na janishyata itarasutu janishyate tata manushya jatiha shreyasi na va shreyasi tyevam paripurishutve. Sounded exactly the same. Like I said before, I don't like pronouncing the word twice if you said it like almost right. Like if you said it right, but if you don't feel right about it, it's best to leave it alone and move on. It has something to do with paying respects to Sanskrit, because you'll mess up an easy word later. It'll get you later. It might not pertain to everyone, but it pertains to me. Vipajya vachaniyaho prashnaho pashunatikritya shreyasi devanrishim shijatikritya devanrishim shit. It's this word here. Devanrishim shijatikritya nati. Alright, 3 more verses. Sorry. Too excited. Ayam devavachaniyaho prashnaho samsaro yamananta. Let me make sure I'm not missing out. Okay. It's good making mistakes sometimes, because some mistakes you'll never make it again because it hurts so much. samsaroya mananta banata nananta iti. 2 more. Kushalasya sati samsara krama samapatil natarasyati samsara krama samapatil natarasyati. There's number 1. maparisa, 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 maparisa. Body, there's supposed to be body there in the second version. Samsara grama pari, samsara grama pari sama, samsara grama pari. It's really hard. Samsara grama pari sama betil netara sama samsara grama pari sama betil netara siati. I'll take it. Anyatara batara nue, tara nue, anyatara batara nue, toshu. One more. Tasma devya karanuya, ebayam, prashna iti. Yeah, the reason why, I don't want to say the same word twice if I pronounce it almost perfectly the first time is back in the day, 5,000 years ago, if you heard it once, you memorized it, and it'll even liberate you, depending on what you heard. But you only heard it once, and you'll remember it for the rest of your life. That's how it used to be. So, it's like searing into your memory. So you don't want to say it more than once, especially if you said it like correctly the first time. You could come back to it like a day later, 2 days later, a week later, a month later, but later, you could come back to it. Like, I'm going to read the book all over again. After today, I'm going to go back to book 1. But it's been like a month or month and a half since I started reading again and again and again. So that's a good break, like come back a month later. And then you'll memorize it more and then more and then more, and then sooner or later you'll read it 18 times and you might be fluent in the whole sutras and commentaries. Okay, I talked too much. That was 33. You got one more, and it's really short. I'm excited. It's my 4th time finishing the whole books. Takes like a month and a half, 2 months. The first time it took me about 2 months. Second time, a little less than 2 months. And then third time, month and a half. Now it's taking me like a little less than a month and a half. And make sure I start from here. I'm not missing out on anything, right? Yeah. Okay, so the English translation for the long sutra 33, the second to the last sutra, book 4. The final book. I'm gonna start from here. Now, what is indeed the succession? The succession related to the moments is determined by the cessation of the change. The succession being possessed of the nature of intervention of the moments is taken in by the cessation, that is, by the end of the change, because without experiencing the moment of succession, the oldness of a new piece of cloth can never come in at the end. The succession is also seen in regard to the eternal. This eternity is twofold, the unchanging eternity and the changeful eternity. There, the unchanging eternity belongs to the Purusha, and the changeful eternity belongs to the energies. That is eternal, in which, even though it is changed, the truth is not destroyed. Further, the eternity belongs to these both on account of their indestructible truth. There, within the intellect, etc., shining with the characteristics of the energies, the succession determined by the cessation of the change has obtained termination. And in regard to the eternal characterized object, it is the unobtained termination. In regard to the unchanging eternal, that is, in the case of the emancipated Purushas, who are purely self-established, the existence of their selves is perceived only by succession. So even there, the unobtained termination is imagined by taking up the verb exists, in accordance with the arrangement of the words. Now, is there or is there not a cessation to the succession of this universe present in the energies with rest or with motion? It cannot be answered. How? There is a question which can be answered with exclusive aim. All that is born will die, and after dying will be born again. If the question be thus, is it so that all creatures will die and after dying will be born again? It can be answered by division. The adept who is possessed of the appearance of the revelation and whose desires have been destroyed will not be born, but the rest will be born again. Similarly, whether mankind is great or not, being thus interrogated, the question can be answered by division. Mankind is superior in comparison to the beasts, but not so when compared to the gods and the perfect seers. Again, this question, whether this universe has an end or not, cannot be answered. An adept has the cessation of the evolutionary change, the rest have not. There is defect in any other ascertainment. Therefore, this question must be explained by division only. Okay, what now is this so-called sequence? The positive correlate to the moment, recognized as such at the final limit of the mutation, is a sequence. A sequence has as its essence a continuous series of moments and is cognized as such at the final limit, the termination of the mutation. For when a new garment has come to the end, there is no oldness unless it has passed through the moments of the sequence. In permanent things also, it is evident that there is a sequence. There are moreover two kinds of permanences, the absolutely unchanging permanence and the permanence in mutation. Of these two, the self's permanence is the absolutely unchanging, and the aspect's permanence is in mutation. A thing is permanent when its essence is not destroyed, while it is passing through mutations. Both of these two kinds have a permanence, because the essential nature of them is not destroyed. Of these two, with regard to the external aspects of the aspects, the thinking substance and the others, for example, the sequence, having reached its end, is recognizable at the final limit of the mutation. With regard to permanent substances, the aspects, the end has not been reached. With regard to the absolutely unchanging permanent, the liberated selves grounded in themselves and in nothing else, the being in themselves is experienced, to be sure, as a sequence, yet it has not reached its end. It is abstracted from the act of existence and is based upon words. Now has this round of rebirths as it exists in the aspects, either in motion or in equilibrium, a final consummation of the sequence or not? This is incapable of answer. How then? A question capable of answer is this: will everyone who is born die? Yes, sir. There is a question capable of alternative answers. Will everyone after he has died be born again? The skillful man upon whom discernment has dawned and whose craving has dwindled will not be born again, but any other will be born again. Likewise, in case this question should be raised, will the human race be more fortunate or not? A partial answer to this question is this: it will be more fortunate in comparison with animals. It will not be more fortunate in comparison with gods and sages. On the other hand, a question incapable of answer is this: will this round of rebirths have an end, or will it be endless? In case there be a limitation in either one of two ways, so that there be a consummation of the series of the round of rebirth for the good man, but not for any other, then there is no defect. Consequently, the only is that this question be analyzed. The last sutra, and it is pretty short. Is it hard? It doesn't look easy. Namaste, nicotine. Guna tikara grama sama patao. Number 1. Maparisa, maparisa, maparisa. Ma parisa. Body, there's a body there. Guna tikara grama pari. Guna tikara grama pari sama patao. Yeah. Kaivalya Mugutam Tatasavaru Pamavatariate Purushulta Purushultashu Nyanam Gunonam Pratiprasavahu Kaivalyam Savaru Papratishutu Va Chitti Shakatiriti. And then that ends the sutra itself. The commentary hasn't, comment by Vyasa hasn't ended, but the sutra itself has ended. And that's why it's in parentheses, because you're supposed to read this if you're just reading the sutra. But if you're not reading the comments by Vyasa, you will not get it. That's all I'm gonna say. Iti Shri Patanjali Virachita Yoga Sutreshu Chatultaha Kaivalyapadaha. Grita Poga Pavalganam Purushurtashu Nyanam Yahu Pratiprasavahu Karyakaranot Makanam. There's number 2. Yeah, I didn't feel right. Maybe number 2 has a better alternative. Manam, so it negates Karyakaranot Karyakaranot Manam Gunonam Tat Kaivalyam Svaru Papratishutu Punai Buddhati Sattavana Peace Hambanantat Purushasya. This word here. Punai Buddhati Sattavana Pi Punai Buddhati Sattavana. If I get over that word, it's practically finished because everything else looks really easy. Punai Buddhati Sattavana Pisam Panantat Purushasya. Punai Buddhati Sattavana Pisamban. Punai Buddhati Sattavana Pi. Punai Buddhati Sattavana Pisam Panantat Purushasya. Alright. So one more vape nicotine before the finishing line. Yeah. Ponai Buddhati Sattavana Pisambanan Ponai Buddhati Sattavana Pisambanan Ponai Buddhati Sattavana Pisambanan Tat Purushasya. Since it's the end, I said it correctly, but I'll say it again. We're almost finished. Practically finished. Ponai Buddhati Sattavana Pisambanan Tat Purushasya. Chitti Shakatireva Kevala. That looks like a ba. It's messing me up because I should know better. But when you're distracted, even though things you know, you should question. Kaivala. Yeah. Kevala. Maybe I said it wrong. Kevala. Tasyaha Sada Tataiva Vasutanam Kaivalyamiti. Let me just double check, triple check. Just in case. All right, so that was Book 4. Namaste. It has been said that absoluteness comes at the cessation of succession in the duties of the energies. Now its character is being ascertained. The disappearance of the energies devoid of the Purusha's interests is absoluteness, or the conscience power is self-established. That which is the disappearance of the energies that have the functions of cause and effect, and that are devoid of the Purusha's interests, are after performing experience in emancipation, is absoluteness. Again, self-establishment means that only the conscience power of the Purusha becomes absolute on account of the absence of close connection with the intellective essence. Its existence in the same condition for all time is absoluteness. Alright, the other version. Isolation. The same word as absoluteness, same thing. Isolation is said to follow after the sequence of the task of the aspects has been completed. The nature of this is defined. Isolation is the inverse generation of the aspects, no longer provided with the purpose by the self, or it is the energy of intellect grounded in itself. When the aspects whose essence is causes and effects are inversely generated, now that experience and liberation have been accomplished, and now that a purpose is no longer provided by the self, this is isolation. The self's energy of thought becomes isolated since it is grounded in itself and is not again related to the sattva of the thinking substance. Its continuance thus forevermore is isolation. And the final verse, is that the translation? No, that's not the translation. It's what it's missing is it should say Vyasa somewhere, the commentary of Vyasa, but it doesn't say that. But I'll read the ending of the comment. Namaste iti Shri Patanjali Samkhya Parabhachane Yoga Sutras Vyasa Pashuye Kaivalya Padashi Chaturtahu. Yay. It's more explanation. Okay. In the Patanjalan authoritative book on yoga, the exposition of the Samkhya, the book on isolation, the fourth. That's it, folks. So tomorrow I'm gonna go back to book 1, Sutra 1. So if you wanna hear the correct pronunciation, I know how to pronounce about more than 90% of Sanskrit correctly. Most people don't know how to pronounce it correctly anymore. The translation has been, pronunciation has been lost for the last 5,000 years. And even, books, Hindu scriptures, which prophesy about Kali Yuga, says that people will forget how to read Sanskrit. So even the ones who know Sanskrit don't know how to pronounce it anymore. I'm just lucky. Yeah, I'm just lucky. Thank you very much. That's it for me. Yeah. Sorry, I'm going through a lot of emotions right now. Just finished the book 4 again. Going back to book 1. Namaste. Thank you very much. Namaste. Namaste. Namaste.